So today what I'm going to be doing is a gaming setup tour and my driving rig tour. So before I start off, I just want to say that I'm not like trying to just to brag or like show off or anything, which is also the reason why I won't be putting like any value to the setup. If you really want to know what the value of the setup is, just let me know in the comments. I already know what it is, but if you want to know, just put it down in the comments, I'll let you know there. Or if you're in my Discord server or anything like that, just ask me in there and I'll be happy to tell you. So with a lot of the things in the room, I forget like the models of a lot of stuff, so I'll try and put like some kind of writing on the screen just to kind of show you exactly what it is. So just in case if you see anything you like the look of or whatever, you can find it for yourself and buy or whatever you want to do about it. But yeah, I'll probably start off with my desk setup and then kind of go towards the driving rig, where I would kind of do everything like racing games and farming simulator and Euro Truck Simulator, and then I'll just kind of go around the rest of them just because there's a few things I'd like to show around there too. Alright, so we'll start off with the desk part of the setup. Now for monitors, I do run triple monitors. Now I don't really run triple monitors for gaming purposes, but I will usually have my game on the middle one, then I have like say Discord or Streamlabs if I'm streaming on that side, and then usually on the right side then I usually have chat. Now these monitors are 24-inch BenQ. They're meant to be like borderless monitors, but you can kind of tell that they're not like fully borderless. I'm pretty sure I got these off of Amazon. Alright, so for audio, I have these Logitech Z533 speakers. There's a left one, then the right one sitting in there, and then there's like a subwoofer on the desk. And then I also use Astro A50s. Now, I actually use the microphone on these as my main microphone for streaming and stuff like that too, just because it's wireless and it's easier just jumping in and out of the my cockpit and all that kind of stuff. For keyboard and mouse, I do use a Razer keyboard and a Razer mouse. I also have a Steam controller that I don't really use anymore, but it's just there just in case I ever do need to use it. Above my monitors, my middle monitor, I have a Logitech C920 webcam, which is my face cam for streams and stuff like that. I also have a, I believe it's pronounced Galmon graphics tablet. This is a 15.6-inch graphics tablet. You can, another thing too, you can actually use these pretty much as like an extra monitor if you need to, but obviously it's just going to be kind of small and a little bit hard to see. And then also to the side, then I've also got the little pen thing for it, and a little stand which contains all the little interchangeable nibs and stuff like that too. Now for below the desk, there's not really much under it other than my custom built gaming PC with an i7 770K, GTX 1070 Ti, 16 gig of Corsair Vintage LPX RAM. I think those are clocked at like 3200 megahertz. It's in a NZXT S340 case, I believe, which the glass is missing, and it's also got some residue from stickers being on it before. I also run a 240 gig SSD from ADATA. It was quite a cheap one because at the time they're quite expensive, and I also own like a 2TB, I think it's a Seagate hard drive. I don't actually know the exact motherboard, but it's an MSI motherboard, and I've also got a Corsair H100i liquid cooler, as you can kind of see there, and I've also changed out the fans for SP120 fans, and then I've also got an EVGA G3, I think it's a 550 watt power supply, and then I've also installed NZXT U Plus LED strip system, which I've also done a video on. And then to the left of that, I just where I have all my consoles. I've got my Xbox One X, and I like a blue controller that was like custom made off of the Microsoft site. Then I've also got my Xbox 360, which doesn't get used obviously. The Xbox One doesn't really get used as much anymore, but it used to get used a lot. But I'm kind of trying to make the full move to PC now. So then to the underneath that, I've also got like my games and a couple of movies that I don't really use anymore. And then there's just like these like two little storage bins either side. That one there is like some cables, and then over there is from what I remember, it's like old decals they made, but I never really got to putting them up for sale. And then I've also got this like Deathly Hallows light from Harry Potter that I got free down in GameStop when I bought my Xbox One X. And then also I've got my Thrustmaster, I believe it's the Hotas X flight stick. It was a cheap one. I don't really use it anymore. I think I've only used like 2 or 3 times, to be quite honest. But yeah, behind that there's also just like a little kind of sleeve for the graphics tablet as well. And then also over to the very right of the little shelf thing, that's where the subwoofer is for my speakers. And then I've got like a little charging dock with a black controller and then a white one that's actually kind of broke. I just have it there just to kind of fill up space. And then hung underneath the desk, I have 2 different sets of headsets or headphones. One is a wireless set by Sony, and another one is the Dre Beats EP, I believe. And then they're on like this little cheap USB hanger thing, which I don't actually use the USB part for, I just use it as a headphone hanger. Alright, so next we'll go on to my driving cockpit, racing cockpit, whatever you want to call it. So the actual cockpit itself is a G2 Omega Pro. I don't actually know what chair I actually went for, but it's the red and the black one. It's about all I can really tell you in a minute. I did buy like some racing harnesses. They're like D1 spec ones, or like really cheap ones. Like they were just really there, bought for show. You see them a little bit better there at the back as well. I have like some these are like OMP carbons. They're the K3s, actually says there on the side. The only reason I really use them is just for a little bit more grip on my pedals, and just to keep the rig a little bit tidy as well, instead of like getting all the filth off my shoes into the rig and stuff. And then in behind that, I've got an old custom plate that I got made up, which says Viking, which was the old name of the channel, but that's obviously changed since then, so I need to get a new one of them at some point. I also have some carton gloves just for extra grip and stuff like that, and kind of just to try and keep the wheel itself clean when I can. These are KS3s as well, KS3 carton gloves, and then I just pretty much have them on these like little posts. These are actually meant to be for speakers, for say if you have like surround sound speakers or whatever. So for wheel, I use the Logitech G920, which is the Xbox version. You can also tell by the little Xbox button there, and then obviously we've got the pedals then down in below. I also have the Logitech, I think it's actually called the G29 shifter, but I'm not too sure on that. Then I also have the Logitech, I think it's called the Heavy Machinery side panel. It's actually a good little bit of kit. This I use it pretty much all the time I play farming, and I use some of the buttons as well for trucking. The only reason why I use some of the buttons is because I've actually got these button boxes here. This was off of eBay. Now I'm pretty sure if you just search in like USB button box, you should be able to find it. But yeah, like you can pretty much map it to anything you want in game. And then above that, I have a tablet that's not actually well, it is turned on, but it's just locked right now. But I use that as well just to show. I mainly use it for trucking to show like the map, and then I also use it for F1 to show like positions and some other information. And then right under my wheel, there's like a little bit of wood that comes out here along here, and then that's just where my handbrake's kind of mounted. It's not really mounted that well. It's just mounted by two cable ties. It kind of moves side to side a little bit as well, which kind of gives it a little bit more flexibility. This was made by a guy called Brian Davidson. I've also got his indicator switch thing as well, and then behind that I've got like a little phone as well for like gauges, to display gauges and stuff like that. And then to the right from that I also have another button box. This actually has a name. I think it's the BBJ button box. Pretty much it's just got like a key and for ignition, and I have a button for ignition, and then there's a button there as well for fuel. And then this is meant to be an e-brake, but I don't really use that anymore. Then I've got hazard lights and beacons, and I've just got like a little cheap Scania keyring that I got off of Wish a while back. So for keyboard and mouse in the cockpit, I use it's like a cheap little bundle from a company called Have It. It was like really cheap, and I didn't really need anything expensive for the cockpit because I wasn't really going to be doing too much work with the keyboard. It's just to get into like basic menus and stuff like that. And I just have like a phone holder, and my phone's in there right now because it's actually charging. I pretty much just use that. I used to use it for chat, but I don't really use it anymore. I just have it there charging most of the time. And then for my main display for the rig, I have a NordMende. I think it's a 40-inch TV. I can't really remember. It's really cheap. It's starting to die out already. It was my mum's, but we had to swap just because my old TV wouldn't fit on the G2 Omega stand, which is, you can kind of see there and there. Pretty solid stand as well. It's got like caster wheels. You probably can't really see them, but there's caster wheels there. They're pretty handy, so you can kind of lock them so as your screen doesn't start moving. Above that too, I have another Logitech C920 webcam as well. The reason I have two webcams, it just means I don't have to like move the one over here all the way over here and then move back and forward all the time. I also have a 27-inch Acer monitor. It's meant to be borderless as well, but you can obviously tell that it's not fully borderless. This only gets used for chat for when I'm sitting in the rig, because when I'm sat in the rig I'm usually kind of sat there, and it's really awkward to kind of see chat over there, so I just have it there. It's a lot easier to see. Then I've just got like a little cheap Logitech keyboard, and then it's also got a little mouse there, both wireless as well, which is really handy. That monitor then is just plugged into another like cheap off-the-shelf computer. You can see in there. It's like a cheap HP one. It was like 400 euro. We'll see, it didn't really cost that much. But yeah, in terms of like the main setup and the cockpit and all, that's really it. I guess around the room, like a couple of little interesting things as well. Like I'll move back a little bit here so you can actually kind of fully see. But this is my pop vinyl collection. There's about like 220, I think there's a little bit more pop vinyls. So we've got just like your normal size ones. I'm not going to go through them all obviously because that would take forever, but if you really want, just let me know and I'll do a video on that. Just going through them all. And then we've got a shelf there with just like ones that aren't like the normal size, and then we've got all these like little ones. These were actually, some of them are knocked over, but these actually were from like a little advent calendar, which the advent calendar box is here. I just have it kept, like it's a Harry Potter one. I thought it was pretty cool. My mum got me for Christmas this year, so well, last year I guess you could say. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good fun. Getting to open every day. Otherwise, I have like a little bits like another custom plate that I was bought this for my birthday. I think like I don't know how long ago, but it was really long. It was probably more than 10 years ago, years back now. I've also got like a cheap wheel that I got off of eBay. It's meant to be like a copy of like a OMP wheel. It was really cheap. It was like €30, I think. But I used to have that on my Logitech wheelbase, but I had to change it because I had to use these little paddle extenders, and one actually snapped, so I couldn't really use them anymore. So I had to switch back to the old wheel. Also on that shelf, I have like an old USB audio mixer. You can't really see in it because it's quite dark, but I have that as well from like way back when I used to make music. And then I've also got my copy of FL Studio and beside it. Also above that shelf there as well, we've got a couple more like pop figures as well. A couple other little like collectible things. Like these all came from Loot Crates. I think they're called Darbs. Those two up there are called Darbs, I believe. And there's like this little Fallout thing. I opened it, but I don't really follow Fallout, so I don't really know what it really actually is meant to be. Then we have a couple other little bits and pieces. We've got the pins from Loot Crate. Then we've got a couple little figures. We've got like a little Hulk one. We've got, I think that one there is from Futurama. Then we've got some other ones as well. And then there's like this little Harry Potter one thing. I was also given free from GameStop as well. And I've got a King from Childish. I have never actually bought a Childish hoodie, but Jimmy bought two and he gave me one of the Kings because obviously he ended up having two Kings and he didn't really have any use for it. I have a little like Celtic teddy bear that my mum got me a while back. Just leave it up there. Just keep it because of the fact it was her that bought it for me. To right of all my figures, I have like two little hats also came in crates. I think one of these was like a DC themed one, and then the black one was like from a, let me see if I can actually show you it a bit better. It was from like a Street Fighter one. This one here I think is, well, it's a DC one, but it's like a Joker one. That'll be the design on it. I don't really wear these kind of hats. I kind of wear more the dad hats, I guess you would say, not the snapback ones. I also then have like a replica, well, it's made from plastic, but it's like a replica Lucille bat from The Walking Dead. And I used to watch this all the time, but I haven't really watched it in forever because it's kind of died out now. Then from a chair, I use a Figmax chair from Amazon. I honestly would not recommend this chair, to be honest. Like I've not even had that long and it's ripped there already, and it squeaks and it feels like it's ready to fall apart. Now that might just be because I'm a kind of a big fella and I've probably, you know, damaged it somehow. And then this is also another like a little thing that came in one of the crates. It's meant to be like a Dragon Ball Z thing. I don't really know. Like I said, I don't really follow it, so I don't really fully know. Then I just have like a little like sofa bed. I actually sleep in this sofa bed and it's actually quite comfortable. I do want to get a new one, simply for the fact that I don't know if you'll be able to see because it's quite dark. Well, you can't see, but there's a rip there, and then there's another one over here, and then there's one then in behind that pillow. And those are just like cheap little pillows that were like €4 a piece, I think. Then I've also got the pillow from GT Omega, which I bought solely for the fact to pin it on my sofa. I bought it along with the rig. Well, I bought it the week after the rig, and then I have it also comes like a little lumbar support, but that's actually in the rig. So yeah, I use that as well. I love it. Otherwise, I did try to do like a kind of like a chalkboard wall here, but I ran out of the stuff for it. So what I want to actually do is actually paint it with proper chalkboard paint. And then I've got like two posters from like old posters that I have. One's a Call of Duty Black Ops 3 one. The other one is a Simpson one. You might not be able to see it too well because it is quite dark. Also for posters, and well, these aren't posters. This isn't a poster, but it's a banner. It's like a little Volkswagen one I got kind of quite cheap. We actually had a bit of a muddle up with this, and the guy sent me a second one, and I told him that he sent me a second one, so he just told me to keep it pretty much, so I gave it to Jimmy. And then I've got like one of these big long tall posters. It's the Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, so I'll give you kind of a better look at it there if it's closer. You can obviously pause this wherever you want, if you want to pause anywhere. And then to the right, it's just well, obviously just a normal switch, and then this is actually a switch for a Philips Hue bulb that I have as well. And then I tried to start collecting Hot Wheels, and I don't really have a lot, so I'll pan across and you can pause it wherever you want and have a look and see which ones I have. Like I don't really have a lot. I don't even think there's 10 there at the minute, but I did start collecting them and then I kind of stopped because I was like wanting to save up for other stuff. Also below that I just have a guitar from Guitar Hero Live. You probably can't see it too well because it's quite dark in this corner. But I also have like LED strips all around the room. So I've got one along the bottom, like this. It was a shelf, but there's like legs in the bottom, but I took them off. And then I've got LEDs running the whole way along that. And then I've also got LEDs inside this shelf. And I have LED strips going up and down. Well, I guess up each corner of the wall that I see most of the time. Then I've got LEDs behind my monitors. You can't really see them too well in this because they're yellow and my walls like a magnolia colour. My walls here are really bad as well, so they need like fixing up. Then I've got them behind my desk. I'll move back a bit so you can kind of see that a bit better. And then I have them down behind the monitor stand for the rig as well. I also have some Peaky Blinders posters now. I got these from a place, just in case you want to buy them yourself, I got the posters themselves from a place called ukposters.co.uk. They didn't come with the frames. These were frames I had other posters in before, but luckily I managed to get the same size posters to fit in the frames, so pretty much just switched them around really. I have like some random little posters going down along here too. One's like a GTR one, a Audi TT one from Uncharted 4. I've never actually played it, but that came in another little crate as well, so I just put it up on the wall. I thought, why not? Then we've got like a Fallout, I think it's like a Fallout 4 one. It's like meant to be all the Voltec power up ones. And then below that, you probably won't be able to see it too well, but if I go under you can see it better. It's a BRZ or FRS or whatever you want to call it from a magazine as well. I also want to show you this as well up here. I've got like this actually came with a little crate as well. It's meant to be like a little like drinking flask. It's always like a horn from like a, I think it's actually meant to be from the show Vikings itself. So yeah, that's it for my Scepter. If there is anything that you would like to kind of have more information on, just let me know in the comments and I'll reply to you as soon as I can pretty much. And like I said, if anyone really does want to know the value of the setup, just ask me. I'll be happy to tell you. If there's anything here too that you kind of think you may be interested in buying and you don't know how to set up, I'm happy to help with that too. If you join my Discord, like we have a little section there for like setups, rigs, just tech stuff as well that people might try and help you a little bit with. You know, join that and ask in there too. But yeah, that's the end of the Scepter. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like in the video. Just leave a general comment as well, and don't forget to sub to the channel if you're new. Thanks for watching and we'll see you later.